Discussion with possible action regarding vehicles being towed away by local record companies and the disposition process of unclaimed vehicles. I bring this to Council, Mayor, because I know that a lot of the record companies locally pick up a lot of cars that are called by police. You know, I want to know what happens after the police picks up a car and it's not picked up by the owner or the lien holder. How is that car being disposed of? And what are the procedures that they follow? You know, what happens to the money that's paid by that when they sell the car in auction? Where does the money go?
Look at this. I come down, it's a bubble. Chief.
Good evening, Mayor. Agustino Arena III from your police department. With respect to the councilman's item, I think his question is aimed at the disposition of unclaimed vehicles. There is an ordinance in place that allows, and also state law in the transportation code, that allows the towing company or the service record to go ahead and take possession, that takes possession of these vehicles that are towed away upon direction of the police officer, to keep those, hold those for a period of time, to send a registered letter to the registered owner of the vehicle, advising them that they are in possession of the vehicle and that there are certain storage fees that may be owed, along with the towing fees. If the registered owner does not respond within a given particular period of time, then the record company may petition the state for taking ownership of the vehicle, and whatever proceeds or whatever the tow service company does with the vehicle is really his at his option, and that's according to both the ordinance in place and the transportation code.
Excuse me, Mayor, is this from the transportation code that specifies that?
It's Transportation Code Section 683.003, and also the our own Code of Ordinances, Chapter 32.
My concern, Mayor, is why when a local police officer calls the record to come pick up a car, regardless of what condition the car is, and then the car is put in auction, the city doesn't get any money out of it. You know, the car is sold. It's my understanding that the car has to be advertised that it is for sale, because the reason that car was picked up is because the police called the record to come pick it up. There's also a concern of how the records are being called to come pick up cars. I understand that there's a rotation system, but I really don't know how that rotation system works.
Okay, one of your questions was that whether the city benefits or gets any money after they sell the car.
Yeah.
Is that what your question? I'm sure that you have a policy, or they have a policy by where they inform the individual that your car is being held in a storage lot. They send a letter, as you think, the record company, right, and lets them know that their car is being held, right?
That is correct.
What happens after so many? Is there a time period that
yes, there is.
They default or whatever?
Yes, there is a time period according to state law and according to our Code of Ordinances that dictates that there is a specific period of time that the owner, the registered owner of the vehicle, is supposed to respond and claim ownership of the vehicle. The vehicle is not claimed, then it becomes abandoned. Then the tow service company has an opportunity to be able to petition the state for ownership of the vehicle and thereby do with the proceeds whatever they want.
They keep them
covering their costs.
Hopefully to cover the storage fees
or
that
whatever.
are probably doing.
Okay.
But that's in both the transportation code and in our.
That's between them and the.
That is correct.
Okay.
The ordinance itself establishes a rotation list, and we have two rotation lists, one for regular tow services and one for heavy-duty tow services.
How many record companies are in the rotation?
We have a period of
how many?
9. 9 on the regular rotation. That's regulated. Yes.
I think I know what. Yeah, I agree with maybe having increasing the $100 fee increasing or adding a fee that has a per tow, and then even having a percentage of the storage. I think ultimately we probably need to look at a impound lot for ourselves.
I would like to ask the chief, what does the municipal court have to do with cars, the vehicles?
Mayor, I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Well, Section 101-161 says municipal court fees and costs. The clerk of municipal court may collect a fee for a hearing on probable cause for removal of a vehicle and placement in a storage facility.
Mr. Mayor, I'm afraid you'll have to ask the municipal court clerk regarding that. I'm not exactly sure what that means.
Well, that's part of the transportation code, Mr. Dovalina.
I think what we ought to do, and we ought to be thinking is, I mean, if we're using police resources, and we have the men and women in uniform out there spending time, and we're getting no compensation, and the tow trucks owners are filling their pockets with, money, I mean, there's something wrong there.
An issue that's very important to this, some kind of separation between the disposition of these vehicles, regardless of how they do it, and any city employee, they may put themselves in a position to make that purchase. Do we have anything in policy for that right now?
I'm not sure if we have, we may not have a specific policy, Councilmember, but we
Whether
will
it's
work
through
on
this-
that. And on the city auctions, the city employees are not allowed to.
Okay, so there is a policy.
On the city's auctions, yes.
Okay.
The ones that the city
Anyone
holds. The ones that the
anyone
city
associated
holds.
with a city, an employee.
Okay.
Well, the ones that the
That's right.
city holds,
Huh?
Those held by the city.
the ones
If
done by the city.
If the towing companies
Yes,
hold it
that's
off.
separate.
That's a private.
It's a private entity, yeah.
Private.
Sure.
My question still is, Mayor, that when a vehicle is picked up by police, the record goes there because the police call them to pick up the vehicle. Now, if the person does not pick up the vehicle from the record company or he's got it on storage, that vehicle, the record can say, well, we called this guy, or we send them a letter, they're supposed to send a registered letter. And they're supposed to wait so many days. And I believe the vehicle should be sold in a public auction, because that vehicle was caught because he took the action of a local police officer. And that's not being done. And if we have to start an ordinance to do that, I would like to make that motion. Because see, all vehicles that are being picked up by police, some of them are not being sold in public auction. And the public is not being advised that they have a right to go and bid on that vehicle, regardless of the vehicle that it is. And I know some of those vehicles are going to other places that are good vehicles that are being picked up.
Can we do that, though, to a private entity?
I don't know.
Well, the only reason you're calling them is because the police are calling them to come pick up a vehicle. They don't have to come pick up a vehicle. They can just say, well, I'm sorry, I don't want to follow the rules of the city. I don't want to pick up that vehicle, so I have to sell it in public auction.
Well, Mr. Mayor,
He to go pick up the
we're
vehicle.
all-
He doesn't have to.
we're only talking about vehicles that are abandoned, vehicles that
Right.
the registered owner does not
not
come back and
necessarily,
claim.
sir, you know that.
If they, I know, I'm afraid I didn't get that last comment, Mr. Mayor.
Make a motion that we go ahead and either study to make an ordinance in regards to vehicles being towed at the request of police or being picked up, how they will be disposed of.